Hi and welcome to a beautiful Christmas afternoon. I just quickly want to take you through the price of Bitcoin, what we can expect, a little bit of education, running through some of the alts, just a quick update here from my side. I know we're all spending time with loved ones, friends and family, but if you cannot help yourself and you want to see what's going on in the market, have a look at this update. I'm just briefly taking you through what I'm seeing at the moment with Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're looking at Rweave, Zilliqa, Uniswap, Theta and SUSHI. Stay tuned. Please smash up the like and subscribe. And as always, if you'd like to trade with me, my affiliate links are down in the description. It costs you nothing and it helps support this channel. So let's quickly dive into the price of Bitcoin here. So the one thing that I did mention to one of my communities is to say that when you look at these daily levels, generally and probability wise, when you form a fresh daily level, you always move away from, not always, there's a high chance of you moving away from it first before you go and retest it. Also, when we formed this daily level, we moved away from it and now it looks like we're coming to retest it. So it's a little trick that I've learned over the years of trading, is to say that generally speaking, when you do form a fresh weekly or daily level, probability wise, you move away from it first before you go and retest it. Very seldom that I see that you form a fresh daily level, and you just go do this. Okay, it does happen and anything is possible in this market, and I have seen scenarios where that happens, but 60 to 70% of the time price moves away, and that's exactly what it's done over here. So just quickly looking at the price of Bitcoin, what am I seeing? We had this nice little support area over here that's been holding support since on the 20th of December, just consolidating, and then when Christmas Father came to deliver the presents last night, we had a little gift, a little dump, testing back the strength, to the strength line, also being supported by this order block over here. And we are currently getting a little bit of momentum to the upside. So purely from a technical perspective, it does look like we broke down with high volume. This is a retest for lower prices to come. So we just have to keep the scenario in mind, just to say that, well, what's going to happen when we hit this daily level? Is it going to be a swing failure where we find acceptance back above the level, or are we going to break through with high volume, retesting it for continuation to the downside, high volume, and then more continuation to the downside? So this is definitely an area that I will be watching. If we do find weakness to the downside for a potential larger bounce to the upside, even coming to test this trend line. So this could be we could be forming a nice little bigger bump and run scenario here, where we formed the trend, lost the support, flipped it into resistance for a bump and then a run scenario. Okay, we'll just have to monitor this as price moves, and I mean, price is still a very far way away from that level. Okay, this point of control where I've got point of control major is that consolidation. If you go and zoom onto the daily, just quickly want to show and refresh everyone. I know it looks a bit messy, but this bull cycle that we formed over here, when you take a fixed range profile from where we started and before we had this drop, you'll see that we have this nice little point of control where the most volume was traded, okay, which could be a nice little bouncing area for continuation to the downside or to the upside if we do find momentum down. Okay, excuse me, just quickly going back into the price of Bitcoin. So this is definitely one scenario that I am watching, is to say that this could be a bigger bump and run scenario, or let's just take all the scribble out the way, where we could find strength and break through. Where we are right now, we could break through with high volume, where it's a mini bump and run scenario, to find continuation to the upside. We'll just have to observe this fresh daily level that we formed here. Do we break through with high volume, consolidate above for continuation, or are we going to finally find this weakness to the downside? So definitely an area that I'm watching here. The high, grabbing liquidity potentially even above these highs for continuation down, or rejecting from this daily level before even reaching these highs. just want to look at liquidity at the moment. When I look at the liquidity heat map here on Bitcoin, let's just refresh this. I'm on the weekly, so here at above these highs, here at $44,000, let's say 44,700. Looking at the price, 44,700. Yeah, so claiming these highs would mean that we are grabbing a lot of liquidity here on top, or potentially above these highs and above these highs for bigger movement down. So definitely a scenario that I'm keeping an eye on. Let's just get the scribble out here. Like I said, just a quick Christmas update here for the price of Bitcoin. We could find ourselves still consolidating here, consolidating before we get that final decision either to the upside or to the downside. Okay, also what I'm taking into consideration as well is when you look at CVD, I do see bullish CVD between this pivot and this pivot. So this pivot and this pivot over here, I do see bullish CVD, of which the target is this high. So we'll just have to see if this bullish CVD is going to play out. Okay, there's our target. We have bullish CVD on the Bybit line and also on the blue, which is a combination of all exchanges. So, just from a data perspective, we have a nice little tick over there to say that, well, we do have bullish momentum or CVD, of which this is the high. Okay, which could mean that we are first going to grab the liquidity above these highs before a move down or continuation to the upside. It's about how we grab this liquidity. If we have high volume spiking up here, consolidating above these highs, that could mean that we are going to find higher prices before we have a move down. So we'll just have to see how price develops at these areas. Okay, then quickly going into Ethereum, I'm keeping it basic, very simple, only using trend and support, is to say that I've been tracking this momentum to the upside for Ethereum. We have flipped this resistance into support, and then also here we have this mini resistance which we've now flipped into support. Okay, we have this order block, we didn't break through. We had this fake out, lost the support area which turned into resistance again, not managing to break through, again not managing, and now we've broken through with relatively high volume and now finding support above an RS flip where we flip the resistance into support. So this area needs to hold. I'm just tracking this momentum to the downside to say, okay, well, this could potentially be the breakout that we are expecting on ETH to even potentially come and claim this high. Okay, also if we do lose the support again, you want to see us not lose this area. Okay, a potential bounce on the home line, which I call this the home line, which is a great buying opportunity for then momentum to the upside. If we do lose this home line and we lose the support, I do see much lower prices for Ethereum, which in my mind is a great loading up zone for your spot bags in preparation for the next bull cycle. Ideally, I would like for us to go down so I can just add some more to my Ethereum bags, because it just feels like I didn't get enough of ETH. Okay, and it is lagging behind and it will definitely catch up. I can guarantee that much. Okay, looking at Rweave, the same. I've been talking about this coins since we've had this break of trend over here. This trend was over here, where I played the first breakout on Rweave, explaining it in my first updates as well, when I then moved my trend line, waiting for this breakout again where we formed a double bottom, and then again moving my trend line, breaking out again, and then been tracking this movement where we flipped this order block into support, currently found support, and now we have this nice little bounce, and here's our home line or our load up zone, potential load up zone. And at the moment where we are right now, I'm just tracking this momentum to the downside. Are we going to lose this area? We'll just have to monitor for more upside, or are we going to lose this support and flip this into resistance? Okay, I do see a little bit of a popcorn effect on some of the altcoins as Bitcoin is consolidating here during this festive season. I can see a lot of altcoins finally exploding, especially the ones that's been lagging behind, like Zilliqa. Been tracking this coin for a long time as well, and now finally, looking at this home line, anything bouncing close or back at this home line, great buying opportunities, where you can see where we make this little touch point over here, and now finding an aggressive momentum to the upside. Okay, and some decent high volume, green volume kicking in here on Zilliqa as well. Zooming onto a little bit more smaller time frames, can we form a trend over here? Let's see. Let's just see what's going on here. Okay, they are a little bit wicky and try and stop you out everywhere. Yeah, it's not a nice break of trend at the moment. You could potentially, I don't like the way that it's forming. I would potentially, for a load up zone, I would wait for us to come and bounce back at the home line. And if we do lose the home line, then it could be that moment where you break down, you retest the scene of the crime for continuation to the downside, or we form a nice little trend here for then breakout to the upside. Okay, but yeah, I mean, Zilliqa has been in a nice load up zone since early where I've been tracking this momentum to the downside, or to this breakout strategy. So just taking the scribble out the way. Okay, let's go into the 4 hour. I mean, this was your buy zone. This was your buy zone. Tracking this momentum to the downside. Even zooming out a little bit further. Okay, tracking this momentum since the 2nd of June. This was your load up area, and now it looks like we are off to the races. And it kind of feels to me like, next stop is here by this resistance area, which is still around about 33% away. If we then flip this area into support, breaking through with high volume, consolidating above, we could then be looking at the next target area, which is 76% away, 111% away, or 150% away. It's all dependent on the price of Bitcoin and how far Bitcoin will allow these altcoins to still pop. But as a first target, I would be looking at these highs over here. Okay, so I do still see a little bit of momentum up for Zilliqa. We'll just have to track on the smaller time frames when we do lose the momentum and start seeing weakness. But for now, it is following this trend to the upside, still looking strong for momentum. Okay, please don't FOMO into trade, use proper risk management. And as always, I'm not a financial advisor. This, what I'm showing you over here, is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research before you enter any trades. Looking at Uniswap, the last time I discussed this coin, it kind of looked like we were in a similar pattern over here as to where we were over here, and now we have broken through this resistance. And what's important for us to keep momentum to the upside is you want to see us hold this level to then potentially break this resistance into support, hold the level, and continue our way up. So just continue tracking this momentum to the upside. Any pullback into this line for me would be a load up zone. Ideally, you do not want to see us lose this support and flipping it into resistance. Okay, looking at Theta, also tracking this momentum to the upside. We've now currently flipped this resistance into support. These highs, it's important that for momentum to remain bullish to the upside, we need to hold this area. Already wicked into it once. Even if we come down, we need to hold this area for potential blast off to the moon, as they say. Okay, last coin on the list, SUSHI. Same thing. I've been tracking this momentum to the upside. Any pullback back into this line for me is a load up zone. It makes your risk management so much easier, as to say that, well, when it pulls back into this line, it's a clear invalidation in terms of where to put your stop loss. Okay, for then anticipating that move up, even flipping this area into support, consolidating above for continuation to the upside. Okay, also we have to think about bearish scenarios. You lose this home trend, you backtest the scene of the crime, potentially bouncing on this support. If you break through with high volume, it works both ways, both in bullish and bearish scenarios. You break through this support, you flip it into resistance, you consolidate below, you can expect lower levels. So we just have to keep these You know, put in these trend lines on your chart, track the momentum with me, have your little trend lines over here where you could also now say, okay, well, we have a high over here, we have made another high over here, so I'm tracking this momentum, and a potential break of this trend, I'm going to take the scribble out, is a trading opportunity that I would like to get into. And yeah, that's basically the altcoins. A quick analysis from my side. Please enjoy the rest of your Christmas. Until the next one, cheers for now.